Hello from the Self-Love Medium. A good friend of mine had some advice around changing my moniker from your self-love medium to the, and it made me realize that when I say the self-love medium, I am including myself. And that is really important because I am my number one priority. And I don't know about you, but for myself, that has been a lifelong struggle to put myself first, to really embody self-love. And it has always come easier for me to help other people. Even as a child, I loved taking care of and helping with my siblings. I was the oldest daughter, oldest grandchild, and granddaughter. And so that continued. My mom has health issues, both mental and physical, that I was naturally inclined as a caretaker, caregiver, to help her, be there for her. And I never really learned how to be there for myself and how to really take care of myself first. And so I actually had tried to record a few different times over the last week and a half. It's been pretty intense for me since my last video. I've been very sick. You can probably still hear it in my voice. And I had what's been going around our small town, a respiratory infection, difficulty with a lot of coughing and talking. And so every time I tried to record the video, something would happen when I accidentally stopped recording it, or for some reason there wasn't any sound recording. I got interrupted. Right now my dog is trying to interrupt and I'm ignoring him. So I really felt like Spirit was trying to send me the message that I needed to take care of myself first. And when I was ready, then I could share my message with you all. What I had been trying to record at that time, I was talking about finding inner peace within, with everything going on in our country, especially in America, and but also in the world, trying to find that peace within ourselves. And then I was also talking about filling our own cup first. We can't pour from an empty cup. And that was definitely what I was trying to do. I was trying to pour from an empty cup. And so Spirit said, nope, that's not going to happen. So I filled my cup. I slept a lot. I rested. I took a lot of medicine, but I also focused on infusing my water with healing energy, telling my water that my water is going to heal me and that it's going to help to soothe my throat. It's going to help to clear the bugs in my lungs. And I also had teas and soups and curries and really got into the fertile void, as I mentioned in my other video, and the inner winter that goes along with our outer winter in the northern hemisphere here. And so sometimes that's going to happen. Our body is going to force us to take care of it, to take care of her or him or us. And so I'm really working on that. I'm working on listening to her. She takes such good care of me. She has my whole life. I took care of other people to the point where I became a nurse, and my specialty was taking care of mothers and babies after they were born, after postpartum, and especially in the first few days, first few months, helping them learn how to care for their newborn and care for themselves. And so it got to the point where I couldn't really take care of myself. And I have had fibromyalgia symptoms since I was 11 years old. And those just kept getting worse and worse, more and more achiness and fatigue, muscle pains, muscle strains, injuries. I had multiple injuries working at the hospital. And so I did some alternative type of work, working from home. And then when my daughter was born, I didn't carry her, but my body definitely took on all of the stress and responsibility because I wanted to take care of her. That was something I wanted to do my whole life. And my body couldn't handle that I wasn't taking care of her, taking care of myself. I was in so much pain. I was trying to do a million different things and really struggled with other health issues like IBS, and I was undiagnosed ADHD my whole life. And all of these things are also nervous system dysregulation. And I definitely tried to learn things about regulating my nervous system. And I went to functional medicine doctors and acupuncturists, and I even studied Chinese medicine, thinking that that would be a good alternative for me to nursing. And none of these things really worked out for me. Ultimately, I think it got to the point where first of all, I needed diagnoses, which not everybody maybe needs. They are labels and they put me in a box, but at the same time, they helped give me answers. They helped me to see, oh, okay, my brain doesn't work the same as everybody else's, and trying to function like the rest of the world and how we're supposed to is not really how I'm designed. And I need to learn how to do things differently. And sometimes that means medications. For me, the ADHD medications don't work for my heart. It's they can increase your heart rate, increase anxiety because of the stimulation. So even though my brain responds to stimulation, my body really doesn't after so many years of not taking care of and listening to her. I definitely self-medicated with caffeine over the years and lots of drugs and alcohol. Addiction is a big part of having ADHD and having less available dopamine in our brains. So we're constantly chasing that dopamine. And so it's been a long journey. I didn't actually expect that I was going to share all of that in this video. I had other ideas for the video, but that's a big part of my story. And so I've gotten to this point of learning how to live more in flow and in energy, work with energy in the quantum field, in our universe. And working with spirit has helped me tremendously. It may be triggering for some people. the religious aspect of spirit and God, however you may see that. It definitely was triggering for me for a long time, being raised Catholic and not feeling aligned with what they were teaching. It felt very restrictive to me. It felt, the patriarchy and hierarchy of it felt like women were very excluded, and the messages did not feel very loving to me and did not feel resonant with me. Felt very controlling. And since I've had my spiritual awakening over the last year, I've learned about Gnosticism. I've learned about Sophia and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, Jesus's actual name that was used. And I've learned that the people in power, specifically men in power, did distort these messages from Jesus and from other religions to have power and control over women, especially, and over their people. And so much was suppressed and buried, literally. In Egypt, Nag Hammadi, they uncovered the Gnostic Gospels and the Gospel of Mary Magdalene in the, I believe, 1940s, and found these teachings that are in line with finding divinity within ourselves, finding the connection to source and God consciousness as something that we are a part of, not as something separate, not as a man in the sky, not as someone in power who has all the control over our soul, over our healing, over our sovereignty, and someone that we need to confess our sins and be forgiven. And so this has been a huge awakening for me. And along the way, I've been guided by the angels, who I believe in deeply, not in a religious sense, but in a spiritual sense. And if the spirituality part of it doesn't appeal to you, you can also start to look into quantum physics. There is so much out there about the way our energy aligns with everything in the universe. We are all connected. We are all vibrating energy systems, right? We're not solid density. And so there are many different ways along the path. So that's a little bit about mine. And so I wanted to share, I'm really excited about this card, this new oracle deck that I received called the Priestess Oracle. These beautiful gold-rimmed cards with language codes and beautiful pictures. So this was the card that I pulled before the video when I was tapping into the collective energy. And it's the step pyramid of Saqqara. So Egypt is a place where so much of ancient history related to our power, our divinity, and a place of sacredness was experienced by many of us. Many of us have had past lifetimes in ancient Egypt. I was a high priestess in ancient Egypt, and I was told that I was killed and cursed and to not have any mind vision or third eye clairvoyance in future lifetimes, which is something I currently experience as I have aphantasia, which is also known as mind blindness. And so when I close my eyes and try to picture and visualize something like a rose, I don't see anything but blackness. And I can imagine it. I have a very, very strong and powerful imagination. And I have other clairs. The clairs are a part of our knowing, like claircognizance is our deep inner knowing, our intuition. And I have a very strong intuition and deep inner knowing. I also have clairsentience, which is feeling, sensing, and I'm able to sense and feel things intuitively. I have clairaudience. So when I connect to spirit, when I connect to those who have been departed, I can hear their messages in my head. It still sounds like my own voice. So I needed a teacher to guide me and show me and help me to learn that they were not actually coming from my own thoughts, and that they were messages coming from spirit. So my journey has been to learn to utilize those other clairs, those other ways of inner knowing without having the mind sight, the sight in my inner mind, as well as clairvoyance, where you can see in your mind's eye. And so that's something I hope to develop and release this past curse, but we'll see if that is in the cards for me. So with this card that I pulled, the Step Pyramid of Saqqara, it's talking about ascension, technology, spiritual initiation, and divine order. And when I read through the message in the book, it was talking about ascending from density to light, from shadow to divinity, from identity with ego to I am, and connectedness with source and the universe. And this has definitely been reflective of my journey. And even over just the last week and a half, after so much that I've been through in my life in the last few years, struggling with density in the 3D, struggling with feeling so heavy in my body with my fibromyalgia and fatigue, and it's been very challenging for me to go from the darkness to the light. I've struggled with really severe depression, suicidal thoughts at times, and some periods of really intense anxiety and panic attacks. And so many of us have, because of the way that our 3D world has been conditioned and meant and created, I suppose, over the last couple thousand years. And so now we are at a point, so many are awakening, many, many more are going to continue to be awakened. This is a time where we're moving from 3D to 5D into the light. And so the more that I am doing the meditations and infusing my water with light, listening to the sounds of light language, and listening to different vibrations and different sounds of healing, I am finding it easier and easier each time I go back into the density and into the darkness to come back into the light. I felt that way this morning after a really tough week and a half, and it feels amazing, and I'm so grateful. I'm really excited to be able to share more with all of you through this channel, the Self-Love Medium, which I will officially be changing on all of my socials as soon as I can. I think I have to wait another 20 days. And then I also will be starting a channel with an amazing friend of mine who is a peer from my magnificent mediumship course taught by the magnificent Victoria Bond, who has been my light and my light and my awakening has been this incredible force that has guided me to this point, and I am so incredibly grateful. And she is also guiding us through our businesses, through her Amplify business course. So I'm currently going through that as well. So stay tuned for Love and Light with Katie and Lee, another YouTube channel that we will be sharing lots of the same things I'm going to be sharing on this channel: spirituality, talking about our awakenings, and doing some readings, doing card pulls. Leanne also does Reiki, which is amazing. She's been doing distance Reiki for me. She lives in Canada and I am currently in Oregon. But that's the other beauty of energy in the quantum field. It's limitless. Distance is not an issue. And so there are so many avenues and paths for healing that are available to us, and it's really incredible. And so thank you for watching. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye.